Good morning, everybody. Doc and I have decided to put a little yoga class together for everyone. Just a little flow stretching for the immune system to help relieve stress and just keep you relaxed. So we shall get started. Doc, are you ready? Are you ready for some yoga? Good. All right, so we're just going to start with some breath work. So if you have a blanket or a pillow that you can prop your hips up on, that will help out. You want the hips above the knees, just so you're not tight in here and scrunching over. So try to prop yourself up and get that spine long. So we'll close our eyes, start to deepen our breath. You can have palms face down, or you can face them up to the ceiling. Slight tuck in the chin. As we inhale, the crown of our head lengthens towards the ceiling. As we exhale, our shoulders relax down. Sigh it out a couple times. We've got a lot going on, so just get all of it out. Just practicing the breath alone helps strengthen the immune system, keeps the lungs stretched out and strong. Throwing in a meditation either before this or after this is great as well. Take a couple more breaths here. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder now. Continue with your big breaths. And let's switch over to the opposite side. Turn the head back to neutral. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Carve a line with the nose and look up at the ceiling. And back to neutral. Let's do a few body circles here. Bringing the chest forward as we inhale. Exhale, rounding back. Switch directions. to center. Let's remove the blanket or the pillow if you have one there. We're gonna come down onto our backs. Lower down gently. Maybe take a quick full body stretch here. And let's bring the knees into the chest. Maybe rock side to side a little bit. Get some doggy love. You're my yoga dog, huh? Yeah, oh, you're gonna lay on the blanket, okay. And we're gonna extend the left leg. Keep that right knee into the chest. You wanna find a little engagement in that left leg. Heel is making contact with the earth. Toes are flexed back towards the face. Engaging that quad by trying to push that left thigh into the ground. You'll feel that quad engage and pull that kneecap up. And open that right knee up to the right side, opening that hip. And bring that leg back to center. We'll switch the knees out. Making sure we're keeping that big belly breath going. Hopefully you found that engagement in that right leg as well. And we'll bring it out to the left. And we'll bring it back to center. Extend both legs long. Point and flex those toes a couple times. And then we're going to bend the knees. Place the feet flat on the floor. Going to tuck the shoulder blades under a little bit. And then we're going to pick those hips up off the floor. Let's flow with our breath a couple times. We'll come down gently, inhaling. As we exhale, we lift the hips up. On our next inhale, we'll come down. And then exhale, back up. And then inhale, slowly down. And exhale, pull the knees to the chest. We'll roll side to side again for a second. We're going to take the feet, soles of the feet, place them together. Knees are out wide. Pressing the feet into each other is going to allow the hips to be able to release more. Think about the knees going away from you, not necessarily pulling down. Let's take the right arm, cross it over the left, and just give ourselves a little hug here. And on our next inhale, expand the arms. Exhale, place the left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Chin is tucked slightly to keep length in the back of that neck. Feeling the rise and the fall of the belly. Moving your right hand. Just really take some time to feel the energy flowing through your body. Feeling the breath flowing through. Maybe focusing on your third eye. We're going to take our hands to the sides of our thighs and gently lift our legs back up. And from here, we're going to heel toe the feet out as wide as the mat, or a little more than hip width apart if you're not practicing on a mat today. Then we'll let the knees fall in together. Take the arms long, cross them over one another, go opposite as last time, so left over right. Giving yourself a good hug. Maybe tell yourself that you love yourself. You deserve some time for this yoga. We're going to bring the arms apart. Reach from side to side. And we're going to heel toe the feet back in line with the hips. We're going to draw the knees to the chest again, but this time we're going to roll up into a little ball and squeeze all of our muscles at once. So we're just going to become this tight little ball. Squeeze, 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 and release. Release it all. Take a couple breaths here. Rejuvenating our lymphatic system, trying to get it moving, working, keep our immunity up. All right, now we're gonna bend the knees again. And then we're gonna take the legs and straighten them. So for this pose, legs up the wall, you're more than welcome to go to a nearby wall. Straighten your legs, rest your legs against the wall. Otherwise, we're just doing it here to kind of get some blood going the opposite way. You can point and flex here a few times. Maybe roll the ankles around. Hear a couple cracks and pops. A couple more breaths here. And we'll exhale the legs down. Bring them a little wider than hip width apart again. And we're gonna just drop from side to side, windshield wiper action here. Maybe keep the arms out to a T or goalposts. Next time you get to one of the sides, go ahead and stay there for a few breaths. You can turn and look over the opposite shoulder from where your knees are laying. So if your knees are to the left, you can look over the right shoulder. And we'll switch sides. Gentle movements, flowing with the breath. And we'll come back up to center. We'll heel toe the feet back in line with the hips. Bring the knees to the chest one last time. And we'll start to rock and roll on the spine. And we'll come all the way up. We're going to sit here. Bring the left hand to the right knee and twist. Looking over that right shoulder. And we'll come back to center. Maybe do a couple little twists here. And then we'll go to the opposite side, taking that right hand to the left knee. Looking over that left shoulder. Doctor, what are you doing over there? What are you doing? We're making a yoga video. Yeah, we are. You have to help. Oh, there's the helper. Here he is. He's a yoga dog. All right. From here, we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. You can kiss your dog. So you'll want to line the shoulders up with the wrists in line with the shoulders. Knees are in line with the hips. Curl the toes under. We're going to shift the hips from side to side a couple times. And from here, we're going to bring the knees together, feet are together. Bring the hands just forward a bit, and we're going to sit back for child's pose. Really feel the belly pushing into the thighs as you inhale. As you exhale, feel the chest get closer to the thighs. And play with making this distance as far as you can, taking the biggest breaths that you can. Couple more breaths here. We're going to inhale, come up. Take those knees as wide as the hips again. Everything's lined up again. And we're going to inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze forward. Tilt that tailbone towards the ceiling. Then we're going to exhale, round the back, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, tilt that tailbone. Exhale, round. Inhale. And exhale. Move with your breath a few more times. Pausing in any places that you feel need an extra stretch. Saying hi to everybody. Yeah. After your next exhale, we're going to come back to neutral. We're going to take the knees as wide as the mat and send it back for extended child's pose now, getting a little more into the hips. Maybe shimmy that butt a little bit, getting that butt towards the heels more. Two more breaths. And we're gonna slowly come up. Get those knees back in line with the hips. I'm gonna have those hands a little in front of the shoulders. Curl the toes under. And now we're gonna lift the hips up for downward dog. So make sure we're not pressing into those wrists. Our fingers are wide, pressing into the knuckles and the fingertips. We lift the hips up. Maybe pedal it out here, stretching out the calves. You want to be looking in between your hands. Maybe not quite that far forward, but you don't want to be looking back at your legs, between your legs. Your spine's not straight, your neck's not keeping straight at that point. So almost if you look in between where your elbows are, that's good. Now come to a still pose for a couple breaths. On our next inhale, we're going to lift that right leg up. Exhale, we're going to take the knee to the nose. Inhale, that leg back up. Exhale, the knee to the left elbow. Inhale, back up. Exhale to the right elbow. Inhale one more time back. And exhale, knee to nose, and then we're gonna place that right foot on the mat. Drop that back knee. So here, stay on the fingertips. Try to keep that chest open rather than rounding. If you have a pillow or something to help you, the blanket you're using, if you happen to have a yoga block, that's great. Otherwise, just using props. Maybe use your dog. You know, whatever works. Get creative. You want to have the hips coming together. To do so, you can draw that right hip back, bring that left hip forward, and feel the squeeze of the hips coming together. Almost like you're trying to squeeze the mat and ruffle it up in the middle. Make sure that right knee isn't splaying out. Make sure it's in line with the foot, with about that second or third toe. Option to send the hips back for a couple breaths, straightening that right leg. Keeping all four corners of the foot pressed in if that feels good. Otherwise, you can flex that foot back, bringing it up onto the heel. Moving your hands back a little bit is going to help you with your balance. We're still drawing that right hip back, left hip forward. As you think about that again, you're going to feel the stretch deepen in those hamstrings. And we'll gently bend back into that right knee. Place those hands on either side of the foot. Lift that back knee up. We're going to take this right leg back up into the air for three-legged dog. And exhale it back down to the mat. Let's pedal it out. Pressing our heels towards the mat. And we'll come to stillness. Inhale the left foot up. Exhale. Bring that knee to nose. Inhale. Exhale. Right knee to right elbow. Inhale. Exhale, the left knee to the left elbow. Inhale up. And exhale, knee to nose. Place that foot down. Drop that back foot. Time to lose the socks. All right, get your blanket or your prop if you need it. Keep that chest open. Drawing those hips together. We draw that left hip back, right hip forward. I know a lot of us want to come up here right away. Knight's pose is good. I just like to kind of ease into it with a lower lunge first. Even though without blocks it can be a pain, I can feel myself rounding. So just try to get high up on those fingertips. Then we're gonna exhale the hips back, straightening that front leg. Remember your options. You can flex that foot back or press all four corners of the foot into the mat. Keeping that spine long. Gently bend that knee, come back forward, place the hands on either side of the foot, bring that back knee up, and send that left leg back and up, and exhale it down to the mat. Pedal out a few times here. Then we're gonna walk our feet towards our hands. Can stretch along the way, no rush. Maybe take a step, stretch it out. Then we'll come to our hands. Forward fold, slight bend in the knees. We're going to come to a half lift, placing our hands onto our shins. Shoulders come back. Crown of the head is lengthening out. And exhale, fold. Let's bend the knees deeper. Bring the arms straight out and up. Keeping that butt down for chair. And then we'll press into the mat, straightening the legs, fanning the arms down to either side. We'll inhale the arms back up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Clasp the opposite elbows, and we're just gonna hang here. You can put some movement. Swing from side to side. And then we'll release. Come to a half lift one more time. Exhale back down. Bend the knees, inhale, arms up. Exhale, straighten the legs, fan the arms down, clasp behind the back. Press those knuckles towards the floor. Opening the chest here. And we'll release that. I'm going to turn the toes towards the left side of the mat, or whatever works for you if you need to look at the video at all. We're going to take the legs wide. We're going to engage the abs and start to fold forward, pressing into all four corners of the feet. You can give a little extra press on the outer side to get some more stretch in the ankles. Once you come down, if you feel like you can go a little wider, do so. Just be careful. Don't push yourself too much. If you're doing this in the morning, we're still cold, so you need to warm everything up before we take any big moves. Once you find comfortable position, you can start to relax the head down. Sending those sit bones towards the ceiling, almost as if you're like being grabbed by the tag of your pants and someone's pulling you straight up. Imagine that feeling. So your butt is headed straight towards the ceiling. We'll inhale, come to a half lift. Exhale, come back down. Walk the arms even further back now, reaching between your legs. Still imagining that tag being pulled. Your sit bones are reaching towards the ceiling. And we'll half lift again. Exhale, back down, and walk the hands out in front of you this time. Make sure your chin isn't tucked too heavily, and you don't want to be looking at your hands either. Just relax that head, look straight down at the mat. And we'll walk the hands back to center. Stay here for a couple more breaths. And we'll inhale, come to a half lift, heel toe the feet in, back to hip width. Can do one more forward fold here, but then we'll bend the knees and come up. So now we're going to take the legs or the feet a little wider than the hips. And we're going to squat down. So here, if you have a blanket, you can stick it under your heels if your heels don't touch the ground in this pose. So you can use that. If you have a pillow or a block, you can prop it under your bum. Otherwise, just stay here. Trying to open the hips. Or pressing the elbows into the thighs and the thighs back into the elbows. Spine is long. Chin is tucked ever so slightly to lengthen the back of the neck. Hands are pressing into one another. Crown of the head is extending. From here, let's place our hands down. We're gonna bring our feet in line with our hips. Send the hips up. And then we're gonna come back down, bringing the knees down to the mat. So I'm gonna shift just to give you a side view here. We're gonna come up onto the knees. We're gonna place our hands onto our lower back. Fingers come onto the glutes a little bit. We're squeezing the elbows towards one another and opening the chest. Getting a heart opener here. Sending some love out into the world. We'll gently release. Maybe swing the arms a little bit. And we're gonna come down to our butts. We're gonna come into cobbler's pose, feet together, knees are splaying out. So to end this, I'd like to do a little bit of reflexology with you guys. I will post more videos for reflexology here coming up, but I thought we could end our yoga practice with a little bit. So just taking the thumbs, we're just going to massage into the feet. So for times like these, especially when we're trying to stay healthy, boost our immunity, it's really good. Well, let's just start from the top. Relieve some stress, boost our immunity. So poke into the big toes. The top of the big toe right under the nail, moving down just to the overall big toe. So just poking in there, we're gonna hit some major glands in the brain. You'll be working, you might feel your tonsils. Those will show up a lot, especially if you're getting any spring allergies. And then you work down more to where the toe and the foot meet. Like in that crease right there, that's gonna help your thyroid out. Getting into the center of the foot. Heels and ankles, well, more the sides of the ankle, side of the heel is gonna be lower back and stuff. If you have been sitting more than usual as we're quarantined in our homes or whatever, so you can loosen that up. And then on the top of the foot, the bones that go to the last toe and the second to last toe, just in between there, hitting there a little bit, another lymph gland. And then you can come up in the front of the ankles here and get it up in there, especially following that big toe bone back. On the inner part of the foot. Give yourself a few more good squeezes all over. And then we are going to bring our knees back together. We're going to lay back onto our backs. Bend the knees, send the feet up. Grab the outer edges of the feet if that's available. If not, you can grab the inner parts of the feet. You can grab the ankles, the shins, whatever feels best for your body. Just tilt that tailbone towards the mat, trying to make that lower back flush with the mat. Maybe roll around a little bit, bring some movement into it. And then we'll release, straighten the legs, and prepare for Shavasana. So especially since we're at home, you can get as comfortable as you want. Maybe grab some blankets. You can prop your knees with a pillow or a blanket. You can put something behind your head for a pillow. Whatever will make you feel comfortable. Otherwise, we can just lay here as is. Palms of the hands are facing towards the ceiling. We'll close our eyes. Letting the breath return to its normal state as we relax. Letting the muscles melt into the mat. Feeling the energy we just created, the boost we gave our immunity, and the stress that's melting away. Just let it go. Let go of thoughts. Let go of any tension in the body, including the face. We don't realize how tight the face is sometimes. And just really think about relaxing the muscles around those eyes, the ears, the mouth. You can always pause the video and stay here as long as you'd like. But we'll start waking up our body by wiggling our fingers and toes. Getting some movement in the wrists and the ankles. Bending the elbows and the knees. Maybe drawing the knees into the chest one more time. Then we'll roll over onto our right side. Taking a few final breaths here. And we'll gently push ourselves up, coming into a seated position, leaving the eyes closed or at a gentle gaze. Bring the hands to heart center. Taking a few breaths here. Namaste. Good stretch at the end there, buddy. All right, guys. Well, there's a little practice you can do at home. And I look forward to getting back out into the world and being around all of you. And until then, watch out for some of these videos and keep up your practice at home. All right, thanks guys.